After sitting across so many entrepreneurs, operators, and leaders, I've realized something unexpected. The biggest lessons didn't come from strategies or tactics. They came from how people think, how they struggle, and how they keep going when nobody's watching. Welcome back to another episode of the DORE Podcast. So this episode is going to be a bit different. It's being released on New Year's Eve, where we're closing off the year. So we didn't want to bug anybody to come in as a guest today. So we thought, we'd share 5 lessons I've learned from hosting the podcast this year, and then closing off the year with a cherry. So this isn't about one guest or one industry. It's about patterns that I've noticed after hosting conversations with people who are building real businesses, real careers, and a real momentum in a real world. These are a few lessons that kept showing up no matter who was sitting in the chair. So the first lesson was clarity beats confidence. The most impactful guests aren't always the ones that are most confident or the loudest. They're the ones that are the clearest. They know what they stand for, what they're building, and why it matters. And that clarity cuts through more than confidence ever could. The lesson number 2 is that failure connects more than success. So, wins are always impressive, but they don't always connect. I mean, obviously the ones that are entrepreneurs, understand that you typically get more failures than successes. So usually the successes are great, but they don't always get us to connect. So people lean in when guests talk about mistakes, missteps, and moments when they didn't get it right. And that honestly builds trust, because everybody listening knows exactly what that feels like. I know I do. Lesson number 3 is that you always get a sense that everybody always feels a bit behind. No matter how far along someone is, how successful, experienced, established they appear, they still feel left behind. There's always another level, another goal, another version that they're chasing, and realizing that is kind of oddly reassuring. Lesson number 4 was that real builders don't oversell. The people doing the most usually say the least. They don't exaggerate, they don't need to hype, they let their work speak, and that quiet confidence shows up every single time. Lesson number 5 is that discomfort creates the real truth. The most meaningful moments don't always happen right away. They come after a pause, after a breath, after sitting in a bit of discomfort. That's where the real answers show up. And anybody who's been in entrepreneurship for a while knows that dealing with discomfort is part of the game. So hosting this podcast this year has been a reminder that nobody had it fully figured out. I know I don't. And it's not a weakness, it's common ground. These conversations matter because they show us we're all building, learning, and adjusting in real time. And as we close off the year, 2025, with a lot of things happening, it's always great to take a few minutes, a few moments, a few days to just realize how lucky we are, and wish everybody a happy new year, and hopefully that we get a lot of prosperity and health in 2026. So on that note, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss another episode of the DORE Podcast, where we look to grow everybody's pie and look to embark on our second year in hosting these podcasts. On that note, Happy New Year.